Bitok, let me start with very basic things. You know, I know young people, right from my own village, who've gone into broadcasting. Can I shock you? These are people. I was a board chairman in the village for 9 years in a school. I was in another board for 15 years. These are young people I've seen go to school. But because he became a radio broadcaster and he's famous, he wouldn't pick my call. Yes, he wouldn't. He wouldn't pick my call. Well, it's okay, granted. But you're forgetting that however high you fly, one of the principles of aviation, however high you fly, you will return to the home base. You will still land. And how, if you left, if you did not take care of the runway, okay, as you're taking off, then you're going to crash land because the runway will not be smooth. And this is the danger these guys have. That the ones I know, you even text somebody, he wouldn't answer your text. Yet, I am not even asking for help. You know, as an elder, perhaps there's something I even hear somebody make a mistake, particularly even in mother tongue, because some of the ones I know are in vernacular radios. Yeah. You even said him a text and you tell him, no. What you said is, the meaning is actually this. And he wouldn't respond to you, okay? In fact, if you ever met, he will dismiss you because you're not famous. But you're forgetting that you will not be there forever. True. You will get out. So my advice to them is, please get back to reality. Sober up. When you get famous, remember the people, you know, create Genghis Khan. When Genghis Khan was fighting from China or from the steppes in Mongolia and went all the way to Crimea and virtually captured the entire Europe. There is one thing he did. Wherever he passed, he created new principalities and left princes. You know, he caused intermarriage between the royal families there and his own sons or daughters to create related princes and princesses and kings who would allow his passage back home. So as you climb up the ladder of fame, please create along the way, create other principalities who will hold you in case you need to return back to reality. Because Genghis Khan knew that he would have to go back to his home base because the lads he was capturing, he doesn't belong there. He has a home. And his reign in those foreign lands was not assured. But this is what the young people who become famous forget, that some of them we would talk every other day. I wouldn't mention their names, but I know Mheshimiwas who will not respond to you. But wait until the elections results are out and you failed. Now you want to send us text messages and tell us, you know, I am back. Okay, you are back. Karibu sana. Why should we fundraise for that, those kind of people? You see, that's a debate we should be having. When you are famous, that fame, you know, some people use their fame by attending even events. You know, I know one famous person who doesn't charge to go to schools. You know, as you said, volunteering. He does and I know his daughter ended up being admitted in a school because the school principal told him that, look, you always come here to encourage our children. Why don't you bring also your daughter? And when he's there, he's a parent, no fame. But when he's called upon, he will say a few things and encourage them, crack jokes, and the children will be happy. But you are so famous that you think that other people's young children are none of your business. You think these ordinary people are not worthy of talking to. It's okay. Wewe pada tu utatupata hapa. Ukishuka utatupata hapa.
We'll still be here.
The same. We'll still be here.
Eric, where is the turnaround? When you record, when you hit rock bottom, kisha gonga mawe, where is the turnaround?
You know, we have to be real with life, because the end of life itself is death. every one of us will die, meaning that all of us will experience the lowest moment of life, which is the end of life itself. And I think we need to be real with everybody and tell them that there is no guarantees that your life will always follow an upward trend. And you need to ask yourself, who are you without that fame? Who are you without that apartment? Who are you without that car? Who are you without that big name that you currently have? And I think when we find the answers to this question, we begin to move forward, that it is okay to wake up one morning and you have nothing. Yeah, because it looks like we have become so engrossed into the things of this world that we define our lives on the basis of those things, Bitok. But you see, even the celebrities, when they wake up and they have nothing, including the name, maybe they've lost the name, you know, they hadn't started with a name, but they got the name. Yeah, they hadn't started with the money, but they got the money. So if you lose all these things, why should you worry that you cannot start all over again? Many times it is because your ego has been bloated to a point of believing that you cannot restart all over again. I think we need to reinstitute in ourselves the understanding that you can lose everything and start all over again. You know, we talk on the 18th of this week, my son will be turning 10 years.
Uh-huh. Congratulations.
And he told me that I asked him, you know, what gift do you want Daddy to buy for you? My son, by the way, Captain, wants to be a pilot, so I should have you sit down with him.
Yeah.
And
You're closer to him more.
he wants a drone. This is going to be like the second or the third drone I have bought for him. I have bought other drones before that he crashed when he was younger. And I told him, you know, this time for me to buy you another drone, you have to cram and recite a poem for me. So I gave him a poem by Rudyard Kipling this morning called If. And one of the statements in that poem, Bitok, actually talks about losing as a man, because it says that if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one tone of pitch and toss and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone and hold on, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. So Rudyard Kipling gives conditions, and the conclusion of all these conditions, maybe one day you'll give me an opportunity to read this poem. The conclusion, if you meet all these conditions, one of the other conditions is, and as Captain says, if you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch. Because, you know, like Captain says, many times when these young people become famous, they feel, you know, now you cannot listen to your uncle in the village. Now you're wiser than your mother. You're wiser than your father. You forget that these people have the experience of life. So Rudyard Kipling gives all these conditions. He says, if neither force nor love in friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can feel the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And the last sentence is what I will want my son to carry home. He says, and which is more, you will be a man, my son. That life includes losing and picking yourself up again. It will not always be, you know, a graph that goes up. Sometimes you're going to lose. Sometimes you're going to lose money. Sometimes you're going to lose energy. Sometimes you're going to lose your reputation. Yeah, on a mistake that you have done, and you will have to pick yourself up again and rebuild your life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's very powerful.
And you know, Bitok, he's touched on a very important thing, that the power to regenerate yourself comes from within. But it is you to give yourself the conditions. That today you are successful. Imagine all the successes of your life, you pile them somewhere. The poet says.
Yeah.
Then you risk them because of only one thing. Social capital. Social
Capital
is expensive. I consider social capital to be more expensive than economic capital. And what do I mean by social capital? We talk. I've mentioned names of men and women who've mentored me. Today, some of those people ask of me very difficult things. You know, he has mentioned he has a son. Can I ask you something, Eric, today, you and Bitok? if today you are not there, forget about your brother, your sister. Do you have one man you have selected and said that in my absence, please hold my son's hands?
Big question.
And that is something a lot of people don't think about.
Until it's too late.
A former and deceased member of parliament, I met him immediately after leaving school. He was not my friend, but his son, a very important person in this country, holding a very powerful position, was my classmate, right from high school all the way to university. So something happened to him after we left university. And he was required to do something which the father was required to do so that he can graduate. But the father said, not over my dead body. He said he wouldn't. So I felt, as having been a classmate of this guy, that I needed to go to the big office of his father. And we camped there almost the whole day and waited for his papa. And I told him, sir, please, our friend is really suffering. He needs to graduate and join us at law school. Please, he has done something wrong, but please forgive him. You know what that old man said? He called one of his sons and said that because none of you has managed to convince me, I don't know this, he called me, he said, this young boy comes from another place, but he has come here to speak for his friend.
Yeah.
And that's it. We sealed the deal, and the fathers paid whatever needed to be paid. Now, what do you think he can repay me with cash? I did not have money that time.
Yeah.
He didn't have money even to buy me lunch.
Yeah.
You build social capital that way, by doing things for people who at that point in time, the only thing they may need is your good word.
True.
Now, when you build social capital, you accumulate it. It is accumulated over time. The people you know are the biggest gift you can leave your child. I will tell you this. I have two good friends of mine. They are older men than me. But if their daughters came around, I would hug them, or their children. And there has never been any suspicion. Because even when the daughters want to say, I want to go to university, a foreign university, the man will call me and tell me, Captain, please speak to so-and-so. And the men have told me that, look, so when something is happening in those families, you will be shocked. Sometimes I get to know before the parents. The children will tell me, I don't know how dad is going to react. Please, I'm the softer ground. So do you have that man? So in those families, I am welcome. Equally, my own can go there and live there because that man would take care of mine the way I would take care of his. Very, very important. Because at that point, we don't meet because we cannot afford food in our respective houses.
Yeah.
No, we meet because it is important. We get to know these children because your child needs somebody who can look. You know, you have an emotional attachment with your son. He's your son. But I may not have an emotional attachment. So I will tell him, no. Don't do this. Dad will not be happy.
True.
You know? And it goes beyond what we call the anchors of textbook. No. To those families, you will see even when there is Christmas party, I'll be asked, are you free? You pass by. Yes, which day are you free? Because you're part, you almost
authentic
become
relationships.
part and parcel of that family. Even for some of the men, when the daughters are getting married, you will sit down and negotiate. Not because he's your age mate, but because along the way, I even tell some of those girls, please don't, we've done so much, don't embarrass us. Things their fathers can't tell them. I have remember telling one of them, your father and mother want to pay for you to go abroad. One of the conditions is that you must drop this boyfriend you have. And she told me, it's tough. But I told her, you have no choice.
I hope the boyfriend was not with talk.
No, you have no choice. You see, what we needed
Our
is
bishop,
for
I must
her
have
to go and concentrate. And we knew very well that the distraction in a foreign land, and you still beholden emotionally to other people. And so she had to tell him, now, I need to go. So for the time being, we will not be talking much, okay? Because I am going. And after coming back, now she's at a different level.
Yeah.
She actually became a lecturer. Now teaching in a university, the same university they were in with the young man. So unless you upgrade, you remember the history of Bill and Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, that Bill was only acceptable to the family of Hillary if he improved his grades to the top 10 on the class.
Wow.
You see the conditions you said.
Yeah.
But that I had to say because I can say to those children, they are not children now.
And
they are
taken
adults.
objectively.
Yes, I have seen them even move out of the homes. And I will be told that, hey, I'm moving out of home. Why? Because I feel I'm okay.
I need to start doing my things.
Yes, I want to do my things, And you support them.
Yeah.
Right.
And so can you imagine yourself, you the daughter or the son of your friend calling and you telling Uncle Eric, I need help. And you see, we talked about manning up.
Yeah.
Some of the men, you will introduce them to somebody's beautiful daughters. They want to date them. How do you do such things? Sure. I mean, you have to rise above that. That you are a parent. That I can lead my child around, will call me and tell me, yes, can your daughter visit us and be with ours who is her age mate for a week? No problem, because I know the home she's going to.
Right. And I think also what you relate, that's a very fundamental question, guys, as we are to tell. And I think we'll be doing this conversation a lot of disservice if we mix it with another thing. Like maybe the issues of business, we can do it next week, the issue of registration and business and all that. But as we are to the tail end, there's something that Captain has really raised that is quite integral. And I think the biggest thing that has lost between us, our generation, is integrity. You cannot trust every man around your family. We've seen people who are preying on people's daughters,
and wives.
Children. And wives, bwana. Unapata jamaa unafikiria ni best yako ni bro, kumbe uko pia anakusaidia in the bedroom. I think what we really lost within this generation, that me and Eric, the age gap, is that there's a lot of there's an erosion of integrity, that we cannot trust the people anymore. You cannot trust a fellow man to stand in for you when you're not there. The first thing that happens if we, God forbid, if I pass away today and Eric is my brother, is my friend, one sure thing is, the first thing, nikisonga hata kama sijageuka huko ndani, jamaa ashaanza kukatia mama. I mean, that's something that's happening. Sorry to use that as an example. But I mean, the integrity has lost to an extent that you don't know who to trust and who to trust anymore. And you wonder, where do we reverse the value of friendship? That you can know, this guy got my back and actually got my back. But even in business, the person you think is your friend is digging you back.
Yes.
Huko nyuma yendi anakuingilia, anakukata miguu. Eric, I mean, what do you feel about that? Because coming from WANDERI, who is a generation ahead of us, it really put me in a place where I question a lot. I've also been asking myself, is that man I can trust today with my family? Something goes wrong, I can really trust, and I can die in peace, knowing that even if I go, my children will be safe. There's someone who will bring my children up well, will nurture them, and will mentor them respectfully, without crossing the lines.
I think Captain WANDERI has thrown one big spanner into the works of our generation.
Spanner nyangao.
Yeah, because I think we had African values that we should not have lost to urbanization. And I think when I look at the traditional African man, it might look traditional to say so, and it would offend the learned mind of our young people today. But I think for the African man, his first insurance was his friends, was his community. And it was not an issue of irresponsibility that these men supported each other. It was an issue of community. Yeah, that every man knew that I can count on the men around me. But today, through urbanization, we all believe that, it's capitalism, mind your own business, live your own life. But I think the responsibilities of fatherhood are actually communal. That, like Captain WANDERI says, there are things that my son is better off discussing with you, talk, because he will feel like maybe discussing them with me is disrespect and that kind of a thing. But he is going to be more closer to you, and he can discuss those things with you. Also, the fact that no man has a guarantee of his longevity in life means that there is the aspect to which you have to trust other men can be able to guide your children in your absence. So I think it's a serious conversation that we need to have. We need to actually start, you take your phone book and ask yourself, in my absence, who can be able to be the godfather to these children and be able to guide them. I think I take the challenge, Captain Wanderi. I'll be doing that over this week. And when we meet on Monday, I'll be answering that question on whether I was able to find on my phone book people who can be able to take that responsibility. I think I already have them, but I think there's a lot of assumption. We have not had these uncomfortable conversations.
Yes.
Because, the younger you are, the further you feel you are from death. But I think as you grow older and you see your uncles, your aunties, your parents, and other people passing away, death becomes more real to you. But I think to us, it's still a bit more of an illusion. But I think, quite honestly, in the last 5 years, I have seen some of my friends pass away, and we have to sit down and start asking ourselves, now he's gone, he was our friend, how do we ensure that this boy remains in school? And I can comfortably say that this particular one family where we are standing to say that this boy has to continue with education. We had to raise an education kitty and make sure that the boy goes to school. I think we have to rebuild the trust. We have to rebuild the integrity and be able to say it's not about us. It is about the next generation and us giving them a foundation to go further than we have gone in life.
Wow, incredible. Wanderi, your advice from Maxwell.
In the discussions in his writings, Chinua Achebe insisted that the Africans would say, I am not who I am because of me. I am because we are. And because we are, therefore I am. That issue you've touched on, integrity. I've told you I have many friends, but only 2 give me that trust. Only 2. And sometimes it's an onerous task. An onerous task. You can imagine somebody's daughter is dating a young man he knows is not up to no good, but he is unable to tell her. And now the responsibility has to fall on me to go and tell the young lady, look, we are not doing this because we don't like you. It's because we love you. And you don't cultivate that trust in a day. It takes a process along the way. The social capital, remember, again, Chinua Achebe wrote, we do not invite our relatives for a feast because they do not have food in their granaries. No, it's because we live in a community. We commune together. And if you want to understand the importance of that, is you look at the big clans, especially in the world. Even among our brother Barack Obama has entered those clans, So we've seen it. It looks very funny that in the sitting arrangements of the former presidents of the U.S., Mrs. Michelle Obama will always sit next to George Bush.
Yeah.
It actually
Isn't
raised
it?
a controversy.
I mean, wherever they go, but in South Africa, we saw them every other meeting. And what does George Bush do? He always carries caddies for
Michelle.
Have you seen Barack Obama causing any issue?
Actually, the other day
They've
they even
gotten
kissed
to
him.
that level of trust. Does Mrs. Bush cause any trouble? No. You have got to get to that level where, we are beyond those small nuances that this is about it. And that is the very essence of brotherhood. And why do these men trust me? Because along the way, where I needed their help, because there's some help, Eric, you cannot get because you have money.
Yeah.
I can assure you.
Sure.
There are some people who have called others in my presence and told others that, look, I am sending so and so to you. He is like my son. Please assist him. You get? That is not a man I can give money. I cannot give him anything. He has a lot. He has a big name.
Yeah.
But he goes out of his way. But you have to prove yourself. You remember the issue I had said of trust. Can you be trusted? Now you've added the issue of integrity. Those are the people now you begin to that integrity is doing the right thing, even when nobody else is watching. So the moment you have that if I see something wrong, like for example, one of my friends would have made a mistake involving his own child, and I saw he's convinced by another person, and I said no. And I went and spoke to Mama and told her, I will not forgive myself if so and so does this thing in the way you want it done. And I convinced Mama and told her, it's not about you people. It's about her future, her name in the future. And they said, fine, we think you are right. It can be done that way. And it was done. Looking back, everybody says, hey, now that is how I was not doing that to gain from that family. No, it's because I am a professional in a certain field, and I know if this thing is done wrongly, it's going to hurt their daughter or son forever. You know, and I did it that gratuitous. I drove to the home to discuss that, and after that you leave.
Okay.
I'm not going to say that I want to charge legal fees for giving the advice. No. I have given my piece. I wait for them. They decide. And once they decide, they see the benefit of it. After it is done, I even removed myself directly from dealing with the issue. I let another person
deal with it.
When it happened, do you think even that very person we were helping now appreciates and says, hey, ulikuwa umeona bele. Hapa ningeenda baya.
Ningekwama. All right. Asante sana. Eric, what are your final remarks? They close up today.
My final remarks goes to the men who are listening to us. I think today we've touched a lot about manhood and tell them that it's a path of self-discovery, but tuweke Mungu mbele. We accept to learn from the men who are ahead of us, and learning from the men who are ahead of us is not just about learning from their successes, also learning from their failures and avoiding to fall into the same pits that our fathers and our forefathers have fallen into, while at the same time having the courage to live our lives and experiment and pick ourselves up and move on when we fall. That is the true essence of manhood.
Wow. Your final remarks, Captain?
Yeah, for the men and even the young women, in life there are stages. Stages, the years 21 to around 30 is the age of experimentation. Experiment. In fact, move from one job to another. Try many things. Contrary to what Bitok had alluded earlier. That is the age you try. Between the age of 30 and 35, please begin to centralize, begin to actualize all those things you are doing. Okay? Because at the age of 45 to 55, there is nothing much you can do. You can only consolidate that which you have gathered. So experiment, ages 21 to 30, gather, bring the pieces together. 30 to 35, 35 to 45, you consolidate. 35 to 45, you consolidate. 45 to 55, create the flagship. Because after that, believe me, there is nothing much you can do. Yes, and I also learn from older people and since I know the floor I'm approaching 5th floor very speedily. I can't go backwards. So there are also things I did then, I cannot do now. At that age, you can take all the risks you wish. Okay, but after age 30, stop risking. Start gathering. After age 35, you are stopped completely from risking anything. You don't risk. After 45, you risk, you are gone. And we can't recover you. Even if we love you as however much we love you, we wouldn't be able to bring you back. As much as people say there are second chances, at that point, the chances are slim and slim. But before that, you can run around, and nobody will take you seriously. For the young men particularly, opportunity cost. Today, you're famous, you're doing all, you're young, you're strong, Chebet, Shiko, Atieno, they are okay, they are fine, they look at you nicely. But let me give you the shock of life. That opportunity you have and that strength you have, tafadhali, jega boma mapema, lea familia, wachana na nyama mwitu. Wachana na
nyama mwitu.
I mean, don't try to domesticate foxes at all. You don't. There are people who are just that way. You know, a fox may be very beautiful. You know the brown fur fox, Bito. If you look at the picture, it's a very beautiful animal. It has even a mane. You know, it's one of those dog family with a mane and a very nice, beautiful tail. But is it possible to domesticate it?
No, it's still a fox.
That is the allure of what some of our young men fall into. That you look at all the beauties. Please learn early to differentiate the allure of beauties and vixens, and then settle and create that institution and become the vision carrier for that institution. And I like challenging a lot of them. If you look at social media, a lot of people don't know you. They may not know Bito, they may not know you. Don't live your life there. Okay? Do things. Some people we know their children, where they go to school, how they dress, what food they eat. I mean, that's what we are calling the showbiz and personal life. Should be very, very separate. Because your son is not part of this.
True.
He will have his time. So let him live his life as a boy. Let him be the boy. Let him grow up. At 18, he will be a man. He will make decisions on his own.
Himself, yeah.
And it's something I like urging. Even the young ladies, you know, then stop competing in corporeal space. Don't compete in the digital space. It's not worth it. Your car, wherever you went for on holiday, that's particularly if you start telling us you are boarding a flight from Nairobi to Kisumu. What will happen when you board a flight from Nairobi to New York?
What will happen when you stop avoiding the flight?
Yes. And then what happens when you fail and you can no longer afford the flight? And you see, remember there were some 2 weeks ago we spoke and we said we are a society that thrives on sadism. You know, when you are succeeding, nobody's part of your journey. Wait until you fall and falter. Everybody is on your case. So please separate that life, even for ordinary people, even those who are not in showbiz. Let your children be children. Get them off social media. Okay, it's actually an offense, by the way. For a parent, it's okay when you appear in your photographs with your children. But it's actually an offense if somebody took your son and put them in social media. People do not know that. Yeah, it's an offense. And I remember one time asking a parent to sign a form because we were raising some money for them, for the child. And the parent was like, why do I need to sign the form? Because I know that under the Children's Act, I can be charged. Under the misuse of communication equipment, under those laws, I can be charged under the rules. So, so that you live a life that is clean and nice, you know, and peaceful.
Okay.
That which you portray out there, that's you.
Yeah.
Mrs.
Ukikaa huko
children,
mambo ingine.
Ile nyumba unaishi, nani anataka kujua?
Wacha ibaki kwako.
The day
social media tuongelee
you have a problem and it's being auctioned. That's when that's when you learn the pain. Just keep those things away and live nicely. And then I like insisting to the younger people, trust and integrity. Can somebody trust you with something? If I can't trust you with a shilling today, why should I trust you with 100 tomorrow?
You can't.
If I can't trust you with my daughter when she's 18 or when she's 12, how do I trust you with her when she's 21 or 24?
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for always
Big
coming.
lessons.
It has been a great conversation and deep insights. And I mean, we need to have these conversations more so that we can change the way people think, and probably we can shape 2 or 3 destinies. Even if we change one life, even gospel. Even if we change one life, we take one man to heaven. That's enough. All right. Thank you guys for always joining us. The tacklers who have been watching. Thank you so much. Keep sharing the broadcast. Go to YouTube, Gerald Bitok. Go to Twitter, #the tackle, Gerald Bitok, @Gerald Bitok. And then, we'll keep these conversations coming. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope to see you again tomorrow. This is the tackle at the tackle ends now. Bye-bye. Take care.